welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here today with a viewers requested block called Bear Paw. Now, this is a very traditional block, and we've always had a lot of fun with this, putting colors together and that. Now, these little half square triangles here go around the outside edge of this block, and it's easier to keep them like this so I can just quickly sew them. But the cutting instructions are going to be in the show notes, and you can go look at those up. But first, let's do our shout out. I want to talk to you about Michelle at Bits and Pieces Quilting. She is a Canadian that's been relocated to Australia, and we've introduced her in our show, on our channel before, but I'm so looking forward to our developing in friendship, and she's got some wonderful things going on her channel. So if you haven't checked her out, go check her out now. It's she's just so much fun to sit and chat with, right? So now the other thing you're going to find in the show notes below, besides the cutting instructions and Michelle's YouTube link, is our Facebook group and our Zoom sew dates. Now their Facebook group is growing rapidly. We are doing all of the normal things Facebook groups do, except we have a virtual sewing room set up for the members to go sew in. And that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And usually there's somebody around. Or if you make a little note saying, hey, I'm in the sewing room, somebody will show up and sew with you. And it's a great way for people to get to know each other. Now, the Zoom sew link we have it once a month usually it's the first Saturday of the month, unless we have to change the date for family reasons or whatever. And we're going to lay them out. We're going to sit down and lay them out between now and the end of December 2024. Those sew dates are so much fun. We're having just a blast with those. Share, like, and subscribe. You know what we're here for. We're trying to, we're trying to get more subscribers. I mean, we're just having so much fun with this. It's all good. The other thing too, I do speaking engagements for our quilt guilds for free over Zoom only. I don't travel, and I don't have a trunk show because I've given all my quilts away to friends and family and charities. So I just have taken pictures of them. So there's lots of pictures you can look at. So come on in. Let's get to this sewing. Okay, here we are at the sewing machine, and like I say, let's get the hard stuff done first. This is not hard, really, but you got to there's a bunch of little triangles that you have to make this block work. And I know some of you just hate half square triangles, because for whatever reason, but change your stitch plate so that you only have a little hole. So now the triangle is not being sucked down into the hole. That would be, number one. And then we have, okay, hang on. It's just a matter of practice now to sew them, so that they look like something when you're done. Put your bads, your right sides together and sew. If you look and you pick the best colors, oh, hang on. Okay. There's a few of them you got to do. There's 16 altogether because there's 4 in each, and I just realized I don't have the little corner spot. Hopefully I've got it in the cutting instructions, but that's okay. We'll have to stop the camera so I can cut a little bit more of this fabric. I've got lots of it, so it's all good. Yeah, when you do lots of half square half square triangles, you get very good at them very quickly. So the only thing I can suggest is you take you put the small stitch or the small hole plate on your sewing machine. Did I just sew that one upside down? Yes, I did. Oh, well, now you get to see me use my stitch ripper. Okay, so here we are so far in, and I can get my stitch ripper out. It's okay. Ugh. And I pick from the side I can see the thread, which would be the dark side. Now, you start at one side. And I've got, for some reason, I've got my stitches cranked way up today. There. Now you go through every so often. Now there's also the other way of doing this where you go through with the ball up. And I'll show you that way right now. I'll show you how to use it that way. So what happens is people put the pointy side down and the little ball up, and they go through and they push through all the stitches, right? Now, I have not had really good luck with that method. I mean, you can try it. I prefer to pick my stitches, and I only pick like every third or fourth stitch out, and it's all good. And that's just me and my preference. I'm not saying if you do it that way, you're doing it wrong. It's just that I prefer this method. Okay, now I'm gonna sew that just by flipping it around and get all the thread off. There we go. Put it into my lap. It's not on the floor. Anyways, there we go. Well, good thing I caught it before we finished. Had it all sewn in. That's happened too, where I've done something like that and all of a sudden it's like, oh dear, guess what I did? Yeah, I just put them, I've actually quilted something where, you know, every third piece was upside down and it was like not fun, but that's okay. Here. Make sure I don't do that again, because that would be bad. All right. Yeah. Yeah, one darker side. Yeah. Okay, now at this point I'm going to cut, because I need to cut more of this fabric that is for the corners, because I forgot to cut them. So I'm going to cut and we'll be right back, and with the layout of how these go. Okay, we're back here, and what I did was I cut these pieces I had missed from my pile. They are in the cutting instructions, the 2 1/4 inch squares, okay, to make this 12 1/2 inch block. Now I've also finger pressed everything open. Now I pressed to the dark. So now it's just a matter of working on one quadrant at a time and putting this area together, like all of this together or all of that together. Okay, so let's start with the one closest to us. So we want to do 2 of these. Now, I gotta get my foot pedal, and it's just, you get better at this as you go, right? I mean, this is not, you know, it's not, this block is one of these fun, very traditional, beautiful blocks. And I gave you cutting instructions for a 12 1/2 inch block. I'm trying to get some uniformity on these. Now, one of the things I find with this block is when I have a whole bunch of them and I'm setting them, I want them set to like with sashing in between them, because now you don't have to match up all these little outside points, right? I just, make things a little easier on myself, because you don't have to, it doesn't have to be hard. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and sew it to the big orange square, just like so. Okay, here we go. There we go. Nice. Now I'm going to run my little scrap through because I don't have a leader ender project right handy. I haven't got one sewn close. And I'm going to push this, so it goes like that, into, like, so this seam goes this way, and this seam now will go this way, the other way. Right? Just like that, so it'll nest. Now I'm going to show you something I did. I just kind of like, what happens, I had to poverty piece these because I forgot to cut them, and it was like, oh, okay, now I'm done. I'll just, put them into my scrap box as, a 2" by 3.5" piece. Well, now I need a 2 1/4" square. It's not working. It doesn't work because it's too short. So what I did is I poverty pieced the little blocks together, and I made 4 bigger blocks. And it's just, that's how we roll. We got to roll sometimes. And, everybody does this. It's not hard. Don't be hard on yourself because of this. Now, this one went in. I'm going to try and push this one in as well, just so it lies a little bit flatter. Here we go. And I think that works. It'll work perfect once it's all ironed. There. Now, that's our first quadrant, and we'll just move along. We'll do the same thing all over again. Now, okay. You take your first one, you take your second one, and it doesn't matter that all the little dots are going the wrong way. They're in different ways. That's fine. There we go. Okay, there. Now we're going to take that and go like this. These, you can sit down and, if you figure your 1/4 inches off, you can square up your triangles to 2 1/4 inches if that makes it easier for you. Now okay, it's got to go that way. Okay, this goes down like so. Yeah, this doesn't take much. This does not take a lot of time to do. Once you get into the groove of it, it's fine. I would suggest, though, that if you're new to this, that you try only 1 quadrant at a time. You only do 1 quadrant at a time. There, and that's gonna go. Wait, has to go this way. Okay, so they nest. And there we go. We get that all lined up. Come on, line up. And this, I need to match this corner right here. I need to nest this intersection here to have a nice crisp line. And then, there's another quadrant done. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to push this under because I think it will lie flatter. There we go. And move on to the next quadrant. There. Yeah, my friend Jamie gave me this for Christmas. I was like, oh, thank goodness, a design board. She made hers differently than I made mine, and I'm going to ask her if I can show you guys how she made it, because I think her idea does not involve hot glue. And you know, it always sounds like it's going to be a great plan until you pull out the hot glue gun. Hot glue sounds great until you pull it out, because the one I did where it was in my hair, it was everywhere. By the time I was done filming, I was so upset with it being in my hair. It was like, oh no, it's really in my hair. Yeah. So it's one of those things. Okay, here we go. And we're going to take that, put that together, just lickety split. Yeah, so it was, and there's other ways of doing this too, right? You know, that the method that she was talking about, I thought, well, now this would be a great idea for somebody who just had like some other school glue or whatever, but it's just such a cute little design board. That's perfect size. So I thought, okay, we can do this. And that's goes like this. Here we go. Here. I have so many ideas that I want to try here on this YouTube channel. I think it would be fun. Okay. I think would be a lot of fun for everybody. So, okay, now we've got this. It doesn't look like it's been perfectly trimmed, so I'm just going to trim off just a hair. There we go. Okay, so there we go. Now, last quadrant. Okay. Yeah, I have so many fun ideas I've got. My friend lent me a quilt carrier because I was carrying my hand quilting project, my nosegay, from her place to my place all the time. And I was like, she was like, oh, here, use this. And I'm like, oh, okay. And this is like the handiest gadget. And I was going to, you know, for carrying larger projects, larger quilt projects, but you could do it for anything, you know. You could use it for anything. Okay. So, and it's perfect. It would be a perfect one to take to retreats. There we go. Let's get that sewn on here. You know, like if you're, you know, doing a hand sewing retreat or something like that, and it would be ideal. Okay. Now, there we go. Now this has not been hard yet. Really, I mean, other than I messed up on how I was going to sew this. Now they just have to nest different directions. Here. And like I say, sashing saves you matching up points when you're doing this quilt. Like if you're doing it nothing but a quilt of Bear Paws, yeah, sashing is a godsend. You don't have to worry about making all your points, and that makes it a little easier to do. Okay, now this thing is going to assemble. Once I get this last quadrant off, it's going to assemble just like an uneven 9-patch or 9-patch, right? So there it is. So let's get this, you know, put together. We start at one end. Okay. With the bigger piece on the bottom, if there is a problem, yeah, just like so. And here. If one is slightly bigger than the other, you always put it on the bottom and let the feed dogs do their magic. Just hold on to it just a bit. There. That off. Okay, so now it all goes back onto the board, and you can see what we did. So now This is going to go through and we are going to sew it just like this. Okay, from the bottom up, right? Because if there is a I may be a little too skinny on my 1/4 inch, but that's okay. We just put the bigger piece on the bottom and everything matches beautifully. Okay. And when you're doing this, you just hold it and let the feed dogs work a little harder at, you know, pulling through the fabric. That's a trick every quilter knows. And you hope you never have to use it too much, you know, and you hope your blocks aren't so full that, you know, sometimes there'll be a little fullness in blocks, but you don't necessarily notice it. Okay, last piece. And the last piece goes just like, oops, like this. Now, sometimes the paws are put offset, but this, I like this traditional setting that they use, okay? The big piece is on the bottom, and it's not much bigger. Yeah, it's probably my 1/4 inch foot needs a... Okay, and now let's go the other way. Okay, we're almost there. Let's get to let's get to this part here. Okay. There. Okay, there. Now I'm going to snip this because there's no pieces to match, but you want to make that nest happen. Oops, I'll just move this out of the way. You know, the feed dogs pull the excess a little quicker than the top. And it doesn't necessarily, hopefully then you have an even feed. It feeds evenly. And I'll put the dark in the middle. Okay, come on. Nice and tight. Here we go. Yeah, it's just a bit short. Yeah. And the last one. This, what I'm doing here is called webbing, right? So you can web your quilts together, you can web your blocks together, and I just find it really easy to work with. Okay, now let's get this one popped into place the right way. There we go. Make sure get a nice sharp wet point nest by nesting your seams. And now we work on the other side. And all you have to do is be one stitch over and then stop and then readjust. Now, okay, so now with the center being dark, I'm going to make sure everything gets pressed into the center, right? So that way it won't show as much. And then these go out like so. Like I say, I just finger press everything and then we'll take it over the ironing board and get it really good pressed. Now these are going to go this way, which is okay. And we'll just take them and finger press it and make it as flat as we can. Okay, and we're basically what we're doing when we're finger pressing like this is we're making the pieces as flat as we can. So let's get to our ta-da moment. So this is our big ta-da moment. Bear Paw looks beautiful. Now some people, what they do is they alternate the way they they'll take this one, instead of pointing it out, they'll point it in, and they'll go across where both of them are pointing in. So this is the very traditional layout, and it's just, I just think this is so cute. This is a great pattern. Put sashing along the sides. Now you're not matching up all these little points, right? Because that putting sashing in sometimes makes a quilt simpler to assemble. Like if you were doing a whole scrappy quilt top of this, then putting sashing in between your blocks would make it very simple. Now, I only chose to use 2 colors. Sometimes people will use a unity color of red or browns or something. They'll put 1 color here in the center of all of their blocks. It's entirely up to you. This is where you go off. You can also set this one on point. We don't do a lot of quilts on point, but this one is very interesting on point as well when you do your layouts. So I hope you have just an absolutely amazing week ahead, and all the best in the following weeks and months of 2024. We're shooting this January 1st, and it's been an interesting 2023. So I hope you stay with us through 2024 and all sorts of wonderful things happen for you. Okay, until then, we meet again. You take care. All right, bye. My husband and I would love to thank you for watching our videos and being part of our Facebook group and coming to our Zoom meetings. It's been so much fun on this little adventure that we've been on YouTube. I just want to we are doing Zoom sew dates still coming up and those dates are going to be listed in the show notes of this video. For the next year, we're making that commitment to you, and we're having a lot of fun with those Zoom sew dates. So please, feel free to come in. Even if you're not a quilter and you just want to come and do some crocheting or knitting or whatever, yeah, come on down. We're good. The other thing is I still am doing speaking engagements for the quilt guilds just to help them out to get back on their feet. I am doing only Zoom meetings. And I have a PowerPoint presentation that talks about all the free patterns that we have put out and will be putting out to the world. So they're more than welcome to take any of my patterns and use them for their charity quilts, right? So that's kind of important that they know that we're there. So if you are part of a guild, let your programs person know that we're speaking for free over Zoom only. We're not doing any traveling or anything like that. The other thing that I want to let you know is that we do in our Facebook group, everybody's sharing pictures and having fun and asking questions, and it's a hoot. And we do still have the room feature in Facebook that we can go sew within. My admin person, Kathy, was able to set that up. It's no longer called Brenda's room, it's called Kathy's room, but we got a room. We do have a room working, so we're all happy with that. So if you get the opportunity to come join us on Facebook, that's great. We'd love to have you. So until we meet again, I hope you have you and your family have an absolutely amazing weeks ahead, okay? You take care. All right, bye.